I don't even know if I'm going to post this or share this. I'm just kind of thinking about being New Year's Eve, New Year's, starting a new decade and everything. And I'm a huge introspective kind of person. I like New Year's Eve because of just the really easy opportunity to stop and take inventory on your life the past year. I don't really do New Year's resolutions. I just kind of stop and say, what did I like about my life the past year? What did I like about the person I've become? What do I like about the person I'm being? And what do I really want to change? What do I want to do better? That's kind of how I treat New Year's Eve. But obviously this one's a bit different because we're coming on the end of a decade, and I wanted to kind of share some thoughts and put them out there. I was gonna journal it down, but I do better just talking, anyways. Sorry, I just got a text from my best friend about the neighbors throwing a wonderful loud party next door to him while he's trying to put his toddler to sleep. Hang in there, buddy. But no, just the past 10 years, the decade it's been, and I figured, like I said, I've always been better at talking anyways. It's always odd for kind of a more introverted kind of person. I don't know why that was such a hard word to think of. I've always done really good public speaking and talking in front of people, more so than I have writing stuff down. Stop looking at that. You need to stop being weird, dog. Stop being weird. But no, I've always done better with talking and sharing my thoughts than I have writing down. Back when I used to do youth ministry, and I would prepare and do Bible studies, 2-3 times a week. Was probably really irresponsible of me, but I never had notes. I never took notes. I never really brought notes unless it was something that was completely new to me that I absolutely needed a guideline for. But, I prepped, I studied, I got everything ready, but, for 10 plus years I would teach 45 minute to hour long studies on a weekly basis without notes. And, part of that I think just goes down to the fact that I was never good with notes, and I've never been good with writing things down. So, like I said, I might just make this and then let it be what it is for my own personal use. Call it a, digital journal entry. It is what it is. And never let it see the light of day, or if I decide it's worth posting, I might. So, hey, if you're here, cool. How's it going? That was a really long intro. It has been 10 years. It has been the end of a decade. And this one was actually kind of huge to me because I was thinking about it, and I was going through Twitter and Instagram and stuff and looking at friends and people that I don't know that I follow, and I'm kind of just summarizing the last 10 years of their life and how things have changed, some by choice, some by this is just the direction life took, and so now we got to adjust. I was thinking, I was like, a lot of this stuff is kind of crazy because a lot of it you don't have a choice with, right? You just you either, roll with the punches or get run over, basically. And, I was thinking about this, like, yeah, my life has been probably the most insane it's ever been in the past 10 years. Now, I know 10 years is a long time, but I was thinking that, I'm 31 now. So that means I would have been 20 when the decade started, turning 21 that year, something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, somewhere around there. And I was thinking about all of the crazy life things that have happened since then. I met my wife in 2009, so that one doesn't count, but we started dating in 2010. Got engaged and married in 2012. 2013, very shortly after getting married, I lost my job and went unemployed for 3 years while my wife was still in school. um, that same year, my mom left my dad after having been married for what would have been 26 years. And that was in the summer, fall after I had gotten married. So that one was really rough because, these are two people I was really more or less counting on to, help me with advice and get through, this first few years of marriage, because it's rough. And that was something that went through, and, that, obviously broke my heart, and broke my wife's heart, broke my dad's heart, broke my sister's heart. We all had to pick up the pieces and recover from that. But I think we did okay. Because of that, don't really talk to my mom much other than happy birthdays and holidays and stuff like that. No animosity, no hate, no anger. Just, without going into detail, decisions that I've had to make for the betterment of my family. Having to think about my wife and, protecting her and guarding her in my household now, which is always a trippy thing to say. Got a couple of really cool dogs. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Fluffaluppagus. Went through losing my dad in, 2016, I think is when it was. 2016. It would have been 2017. I think. Everything gets so muddied when I think about this stage of my life. Saw the birth of my firstborn child, which is crazy. During kind of that whole season of my life, I really saw probably the ugliest side of myself I think I could have ever seen. And what a blemish on my life that is. Just how selfish and ugly my heart could be. That was something scary. Before that, shortly before, the birth, actually it was shortly after losing my dad. And then shortly after the birth of our firstborn, had to give up doing youth ministry, which was something that I was absolutely just insanely passionate about. Probably my favorite thing I've ever done, aside from, being a dad at this point in time anyways. I did youth ministry for 10 years. Basically was fulfilling the job and role of a youth pastor, but I was never ordained, so I refused to take the title of youth pastor. I always just called myself a youth leader, which was kind of funny to watch parents get frustrated with that because they didn't know what to call me. That was funny. I felt bad for the kids too because they didn't know what to call me either. I was running junior high and high school stuff, and they're like, "This is my youth leader." I'm like, look, I said I have too much respect for the position. I can't call myself a pastor without being ordained. Had to give that up. That was rough. That one I still miss a lot. I'm happy to be able to say that I think I look back on that time though, and I feel like I was able to give everything I possibly had to that at the time, you know. Never would call myself a great teacher or mentor or preacher, but I gave it 110%. And looking back and having walked away from it, I feel like I can pretty confidently say I was able to give a couple of, or more than a couple, really, probably a handful, but a few specifically come to mind, of the best studies and sermons, I guess you could call them, that I possibly could have, and some of them that still stick with me today that have really carried me through up to this point in my life. You know, been through multiple stages of employment, unemployment, employment, unemployment, being, you know, going through massive, successful weight loss in a pretty unhealthy way, to be honest, so I have a hard time calling it successful. Put a lot of that weight back on due to just stress and life changing in a way that makes it, or made it really hard to kind of maintain the lifestyle I needed. You know, no excuse, it's on me, but you know, so it happened. So, you know, again, trying to adjust that and change all that, you know, so saw all that. Been a lot of ups and downs, but you know, through it all, I think I can very confidently say I don't think I ever gave up hope. I don't think I ever got to a point where I was going to quit. I wanted to, that's absolutely sure. You know, just for, you know, example, with my dad passing and needing to put together a funeral and get all of his affairs in order, and knowing that, you know, there are people counting on me to be the most reliable man at my father's funeral, and even past that, you know, life slowed down. That's for sure. You know, I slowed down, but I didn't quit. And I think all of this pointless story that nobody asked for to say is that, I think the one thing in life I've wanted more than anything else ever since I was young, more than to be good looking, more than to be strong. You know, I've gotten pretty strong in my weightlifting days. I'm not gonna pretend like I haven't, which is pretty cool. And I still want to get stronger. You know, the thing I think that I desired most, and even to this day I'm still chasing after above everything else, is just wisdom. You know, wisdom, not just to be smart, but to be wise. To not always have an answer for everything, because I don't want to be a smart aleck or a wise guy. But just to have wisdom in as many things as possible, for my own life, for the people around me. You know, it's one of the age-old sayings that goes, you know, the older I get and the more I know, you know, the more I realize how little I actually know. You know, that kind of thing. The wiser I get, the more I understand, the less I know. However, all that goes, I think the point's coming across. So, you know, I think that's something that I really want to continue in the vein of, yeah, I'm going to continue to, you know, exercise and try to get stronger. I'm going to try to get leaner. I'm going to try to take as good care of myself, of my physical body, as I can, because I only have one of them, and I've got people that are counting on me, you know. But I think going forward still, my goal is always going to be just seeking wisdom, to have wisdom in all things. So, been crazy 10 years. Been a crazy decade. Life's been bonkers. Life has taken me down directions that I didn't think were ever possible for me. Like things that I never would have imagined never would have ever happened to me and my family. But that's kind of how it goes. They're not fantastic, but I refuse to complain about them. I refuse to act like a victim in any circumstance. And I just want to be able to continue to use the little time I have left on this earth for the benefit of others, I suppose. So it's kind of my thoughts going into the new year, ending this decade. Love y'alls. Love so many of the fantastic people I've met just in the past 2 years. Thinking of some of the coolest people I've met online, whether it's because we play WoW together or because I consume their content online and I've come to enjoy a short conversation with them here or there. I'm thinking of my buddy Justice, twitch.tv/touchpadwarrior. Buddy, good friend of mine. Very quickly, friendship came pretty quickly from that one, to be completely honest with you. Just seemed to hit it off really well and see eye to eye on a lot of things, which is pretty rare but refreshing. Buddy I met through him, getting to know slowly but surely. Proxy, also fantastic human being. Think of even Elo ASMR, fantastic person that I've come to chit chat with from time to time, and would call a really good friend, and keeping in contact even with friends that I've had for years, via the internet, friends that I've known since junior high that I really wouldn't be in contact with if it wasn't for the internet. Just thankful for a lot of things and hoping to keep moving forward in that vein. So, I don't know. Like I said, may or may not go up, but I enjoy this style of stuff much more than I enjoy writing stuff down in a journal. So, I suppose if this goes up, thanks for watching if you made it this far. Appreciate y'all. Love yous all. And I'll catch you next time.